chapter 4 this morning. The thing, and I've said this several times, but as we lean into this Gospel of John, one of the things that I've enjoyed is it's the way John writes. And again, I apologize if I've said this before, but I just want to remind us that if we call Matthew, Mark, and Luke, they're also the Gospels, but they are what we call synoptic Gospels. And the word there, synoptic, means they sort of see the same thing together. But John's just has a different track on everything. And in particular, what we've seen with John over these last number of weeks is looking at some stories. Remember a couple weeks ago, we leaned into the conversation around that verse, John 3:16, the conversation with Nicodemus, who was a religious leader of the day, would have been seen as being a member of their, what we would call our Supreme Court, so he had a lot of standing. But the beauty of living today is not only we have the ancient text, is that one of the things that's beautiful is that there's been so many different renditions of the Bible that's been done visually. And I don't know about you, but in fact, if you follow me on any social media, on Instagram or Facebook, I always am blowing things up with pictures. Because I think it captures a sense of life that we miss out on. There's beauty in the words that are printed on the page, but there's also the beauty of the story. And so this morning I'd like to have the story told to us via a visual Bible. So check out this book.
So when Jesus heard what was being said, he left Judea and went back to Galilee. On his way there, he had to go to Samaria. In Samaria, he came to a town named Sychar, which was not far from the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired out by the trip, sat down by the well. It was about noon. A Samaritan woman came to draw some water.
Give me a drink of water.
His disciples had gone into town to buy food.
You're a Jew and I'm a Samaritan. So how can you ask me for a drink?
Jews will not use the same cups and bowls that Samaritans use.
If you only knew what God is, and who it is that is asking you for a drink, you would ask him. And he could give you a life-giving water.
Sir, you don't have a bucket and the well is deep. Where would you get that life-giving water? Was our ancestor Jacob who gave us this well. He and his children and his flocks all drank from it. You don't claim to be greater than Jacob, do you?
Those who drink this water will get thirsty again. But those who drink the water that I will give them will not be thirsty again. The water that I will give them will become in them a spring, which will provide them with life-giving water and give them eternal life.
Sir, give me that water. Then I will never be thirsty again, nor will I have to come here to draw water.
Go and call your husband and come back.
I don't have a husband.
You're right when you say you don't have a husband. You've been married to 5 men, and the man you live with now is not really your husband. You've told me the truth.
You are a prophet, sir. My Samaritan ancestors worshipped God on this mountain. But you Jews say that Jerusalem is the place where we should worship God.
Believe me, woman. The time will come when people will not worship the Father either on this mountain or in Jerusalem. You Samaritans do not really know whom we worship. But we Jews know whom we worship because it is from the Jews that salvation comes. The time is coming. And it's already here. When by the power of God's Spirit, people will worship the Father as he really is, offering him the true worship that he wants. God is Spirit. And only by the power of his Spirit can people worship him as he really is.
I know that the Messiah will come. And when he comes, He will tell us everything.
I want talking with you.
At that moment, Jesus' disciples returned, and they were greatly surprised to find him talking with a woman. But none of them said to her, "What do you want?" or asked him, "Why are you talking with her?" Then the woman left her water jar and went back to the town.
Come and see the man who told me everything I've ever done. Could it be the Messiah?
So let's pray. God, as we've seen this story played out, as we put faces in our own mind with the story, I just pray this morning that this story that so many of us know, that we learned over the many years, that it would be fresh and new for us. God, that just know that in this story is the answer to so many, not just us this morning, that hunger for a water that quenches forever, literally, so we don't have to thirst again. But even in our community, when we think about the brokenness that exists today, whether it be in the prison or in those that are pushing through addictions. And so this morning, as we look at this, may we see it in a way that we can be encouraged by your love for us, but more importantly, out of that, may we be able to become encouragers to the world around us, to those that are broken and who are in need of that water which is eternal, that water which quenches all thirst, which is you, Jesus. And so this morning, take these words of this ancient document called the Bible and help us see as we look at it together what it means for us today. And we just pray it now, Jesus, in your most precious name. And all God's people said. I wanted this set up because I think, like even the last couple weeks as I've leaned into this Gospel of John, I've been learning a lot myself. And so part of it, what I'm doing is just have you walk along with me on the journey. And it's because of the way John writes, this narrative account, if you will, the storytelling. And it seems like story is really why I think even in our culture today, when we begin to tell stories, it's incredible how our stories, our individual stories, our corporate stories, how they can have an impact on our community. Now, what's interesting here, I just want to unpack it a little bit, because of the story, we call it the story of the Samaritan woman. So we're going to sort of eavesdrop here. But there's some things I need to point out right away. That it's interesting that John points this out. There's three things that we need to see. And you've got some worship notes, and as I've been doing through this series, every so often I'll point out something I think is important. But the backside of your worship notes and your worship program is blank, and I hope you'll just take some notes as God prompts you of what it might mean for you as we work through these verses together. But what's interesting here is that the word Samaritan, what that means for us. First of all, I'm going to unpack that because it's really, really important in terms of understanding the story and understanding this conversation that Jesus has with this woman. First of all, she's a Samaritan. So there's three things that she's got going against her. She's a Samaritan. Second of all, she's a woman who's talking to a man. And in that ancient culture, that just didn't really happen much. And then the thing that we know a little bit more about her story is quite simply she was immoral. That she was a radically different category than Nicodemus, if you will. Nicodemus was an upright, moral, standing person within the community. And so we have this tension here on the other side where it's actually a person, because we know that she was had 5 different men. And even Jesus says the current man that you're living with is not your husband. And when you think about our culture today, that's so us in terms of the idea that marriage is on decline because it's much easier to live together and enjoy the fruits of intimacy without the responsibility of that. But I want to unpack a little bit here. So it goes back to the divided kingdom. Maybe you heard about that. I've got a map here. There was a point in time where Israel, and look at the map here on the left, it's kind of both ways you can see the blue and yellow on the right, on the map on your right. That actually was the entire kingdom of Israel, if you will, is what we would call the Holy Land. But then, in ancient times, when Solomon was king, there was a divided kingdom. And so you had the kingdom of Israel, which was the blue, the map on the right, and then the kingdom of Judah, which was the kingdom to the south. And these guys didn't get along with each other. it was messy. And this is one of the reasons why we as Americans really don't understand the whole Arab, Palestinian, Jewish conflict, because we're talking about this map on the right is actually about 800 BC. And so you can see how for literally thousands of years there's been this tension of upheaval. But it's important for us to see that because when we get to this story here in John chapter 4, we see it in a new way. And I'm hoping there's some things we can take away from that. Now, what made the Samaritans distinct? They were actually in the northern kingdom. You'll see there on the right, the star right below the word Israel. It says Samaria. That the word Samaritan, obviously, we get that from that. But here's the things that the Samaritans believed. First of all, they only accepted the first 5 books of the Old Testament. So that would be Matthew, Mark, no, Genesis, Exodus. What's the third? Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. So they only understood those books as being from God. They also ignored the writings of the prophets and the Psalms. And they specifically rejected anything that spoke of Jerusalem. So when we think about the mess in the Middle East, when you watch the news and you see this stuff played out, and you hear about Prime Minister Netanyahu trying to have some conversation with the Palestinians, you can sort of see why we don't get it, but they do, because it's deep. And it's important for us as Christ followers to see that because, you know what, when we apply it in our own community, the brokenness that's here in Mansfield, the brokenness that's here in our region, the opiate epidemic, these kinds of things that we really, as Christ followers, need to come alongside and figure out how to help. Because I want to suggest, just like this woman, that many of the people who overdose do so because they're thirsting for something that they can't find. And even this week, I had several conversations with people who are pushing through some incredible messiness in their lives. And yet in that messiness, it was clear that if they could just begin a conversation with somebody who loved Jesus and would walk with them and encourage them, it might give them hope in a different way. So, because the Samaritans rejected so much of the Word of God, and because of their sort of own weird practices, the Jews were very hostile to them. So that's why the conversation between the woman and Jesus is like, you as a Jew would talk to me, a Samaritan? We shouldn't be doing this. So it said, what's really interesting here is normally when travelers, particularly Jewish travelers, so we begin the story, Jesus is actually in Judah to the south. And he's actually going to be walking up to Galilee. Now Galilee is that body of water there, it's the Sea of Galilee up there to the right by Capernaum, here on the slide on the left. They would actually walk around Samaria. They would actually cross the Jordan River near Jericho, and they would actually walk because they didn't want to be caught walking in the Samaritan land, which is like, really? But in this case, it's really interesting as we look at, and we're only going to look at half of it this week because there's so much here, but if you just look at the first 15 verses, it's really interesting as we lean into it what John tells us. And we shouldn't miss these things. And so it says it almost implies that like Jesus was in a hurry. And so instead of doing what they would have normally done, which is actually cross the River Jordan and then cross back up into Galilee, he actually went straight from Judea to Sychar, which is there in the pink here on the left-hand side, which is where the well of Jacob is. So let's look at the scripture first. Let's look at the first 6 verses. Follow along if you will. When Jesus learned that the Pharisees had heard he was making and baptizing more disciples than John, though Jesus himself was not baptizing, but his disciples were, he left Judea and went again to Galilee. Now what's interesting here, and I've got it in yellow here, because I think I actually have you underline it because it's important for us to, why does John say he had to travel through Samaria? He didn't just say he traveled through, he actually said he had to travel through Samaria. And so he came to the town of Samaria called Sychar, near the property that Jacob had given his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, worn out from his journey. Think about this. Jesus, the Son of God, was worn out from his journey. He sat down at the well, and it was about noon. Now, let's take a look at this a little bit more, because there's some things here I think that are actually applicable to us in a very real way this morning. So, John tells us that Jesus left Judea and departed again to Galilee. But it seems he was in a hurry, for he, like I said, he decided to go straight as opposed to go the roundabout route. And then this verse 4, where he says he needed to go through Samaria. And what I want us to see here is that nothing in life is coincidence. that Jesus knew that he had a divine appointment to make with this woman, and even though to get there, he was going to be tired, but he knew he needed to talk to this woman to offer her encouragement. So we know that he went to the Samaria, which is also called Sychar, near the plot of the ground that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. Now, it's interesting here, this well of Jacob, this is 2,000 years old. I actually have, here's a picture here of Jacob's well. It's now, actually, this is the fifth manifestation of a church that's been built over the site of Jacob's well. You can actually sort of see it there in the center. It's just a big open hole and it goes into the ground. This picture is just a few weeks old. I pulled it off the internet this morning, but what's interesting is that, think about this, that well is over 4,000 years old. And that well has been providing water to people for literally that long. And how cool that is. And how cool that is even in God's economy, that even as we think through our messiness today and the things we have to push through even this week, that God is a God that thinks long. And so his generosity through Jacob actually gets us to the story this morning. Now, we're told in verse 6 that Jesus was weary from his journey, and so he sat by the wall, and it was about the 6th hour. Now, we get a little confused because, wait a minute, he was up at 6 a.m.? No. Actually, you need to be reminded that when the Jews started to keep time, their day began at 6 a.m. So that's why it says the 6th hour. So it was about noon. Which, think about that. That's like the hottest time of the day in the desert region, isn't it? And Jesus and his humanity, and this is one of those marvelous texts that explore something of the reality of who Jesus was as a human being. That he was, tired and he was thirsty. And so John tells us that Jesus was alone because, get this, I love this, because he sent his disciples into the city. They had to go grocery shopping because, see, he was the rabbi. So he actually got to send them off to go do the hard work, which is sometimes why I ask Nikki to go to the store, because I'm sort of rabbi here. But she's very good at making sure some things happen around here, and it's that generosity. And yet I like to co-serve, and I'm happy to go get those things too myself. Because I'm still trying to figure it out. But you see, Jesus being a good rabbi and having good students, he sends them off to get lunch and to bring it to him. Now, what's interesting is we look at this story again. Jesus isn't alone for very long. Verse 7, it says, a woman of Samaria came to draw water. And Jesus looks to her and says, give me a drink, because his disciples had gone into town to buy food. Now, here's a couple things we can learn from this. First of all, we need to know that women who lived in the village usually went to draw water either early in the morning or after sunset. They didn't go in the middle of the day. They would get a day's supply of water for drinking and for bathing and for cleaning their utensils and for washing their clothes. And normally women would come to the well as a group. And so we know something's up here because this woman is at noon and she came all alone. And so it tells us an amazing amount about her social status in the community. And that she's obviously been ostracized. She's been sort of pushed away, shunned by the rest of the women in the community. She's some kind of an outcast. And she had to come by herself in the heat of the day to get the water. Now, as we go on here, let's look at verse 9. Back to the scripture here. How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a Samaritan woman? She asked him, for Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Jesus answered, if you knew the gift of God, who was saying to you, give me a drink, you would ask him, and he would give you living water. Now, it's interesting here that Jesus that John rather actually says, for Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Now, this is where translations get us in trouble. That this is really, it's been interesting even through this whole book of John, and it makes more sense in seminary why they have seminary students, although this student didn't do it. When you're in New Testament Greek, you actually, you get to translate a few verses out of the Gospel of John. And apparently it's a very difficult book, as I pointed out in the last few weeks and even this morning, that it's not an easy translation. For example, we know for the fact that verse there, second half of verse 9, for Jews do not associate with Samaritans. Well, the problem with that is that they had all sorts of kind of dealings with Samaritans. And I just want to unpack what really John was saying here. They did have associations because Jesus had just sent his guys to town to go grocery shopping. And so they were going to be buying clothes, food, and whatever they needed from Samaritans. So obviously they could transact. But what Jews were not allowed to do was to share the eating utensils with Samaritans. Particularly, they weren't allowed to share glasses or cups because the Samaritans were considered to be unclean. And it goes back to that picture of the divided kingdom, that they were seen as being almost half-breeds. And so that's why the Jews and the Samaritans didn't talk to each other very much. So now let's look at this response of Jesus. Because Jesus, again, in John's Gospel, it's always this sort of interesting, thought-provoking kind of response. Jesus responded to the woman's question this way, which is what he did also for Nicodemus. He said to the woman, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is who says to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." So in other words, Jesus said, if you knew who I was, if you wouldn't respond to my request by giving me the history of the social problems of this network of where we're living right now between Jews and Samaritans, you would drop everything and you would say to me, "Please give me a drink." So let's continue to read on through here. Verse 11. "Sir," said the woman, "you don't even have a bucket, and the well is deep. So where do you get this living water? You aren't greater than our father Jacob, are you? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and livestock." Now, like Nicodemus about being reborn, remember that from John chapter 3? The woman was puzzled by Jesus' words, so she asked him for clarification. She says, "Sir, you have nothing to draw from." Well, first of all, you need to understand that it was ancient world custom and practices that when you went on a journey, you took a canvas bucket with you. Because more than likely, you were going to need some water. You couldn't stop at the store and get a bottle of water, or run to Starbucks and get your favorite latte or ice drink, or McDonald's. You would actually have this bucket that you would give or use yourself, and you would drop down into the well. And so she's aware that something's going on here, and she immediately says, "You don't have a bucket. You don't have anything to draw with. How are you going to give me something to drink?" And not only, she says as well, "It's deep, where are you going to get this living water?" And she's perplexed by that and actually curious about that. And we're going to take more look at that next week about how Jesus responds. But just this morning, she goes on then and says, "So do you think you're greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well, this well of over 2,000 years? You think you're more important than he is?" She couldn't believe that anyone was greater than Jacob, and the man who dug this well that had supplied water for all these people for all these years. That somebody like that would come along and talk to her. Now let's keep looking here. We just have a few more verses this morning. Verse 13, Jesus said, "Everyone who drinks from this water will get thirsty again, but whoever drinks from the water that I give him will never get thirsty again. In fact, the water I will give him will become a well of water springing up from him for eternal life." Now, here's basically what Jesus told the woman. This is sort of my interpretation, my paraphrase. Jesus said, "You know what? Jacob was a great man, and he did amazing, wonderful things by actually digging this hole and giving you this well many years ago. And the truth is, it stood the test of time, and people we know come here every day to get their water. And this isn't the first time you've been here to get water. And if you drink from Jacob's well, you got to just know that you're going to have to come back tomorrow. You're going to have to come back the day after. You have to the day after that. Because this water won't prevent you from thirsting again." And then Jesus goes on to say, "But you need to know that anyone who drinks from the water I'm going to give you will never become thirsty again. Instead, it will become a fountain of water inside them, springing up to eternal life." Now, I want you to underline that word "springing up" there in verse 14. There at the end of the sentence. Springing up, because that's important here. That he literally used a word that meant leaping up. The picture that we need to see in our mind is that the water was so alive, it was so dynamic, so energetic, so powerful, that not only could it finish out a person's thirst for a moment, it would also begin to be stored up, so the soul could be given drink. So that in those moments, and again, that's where, for me today, when we look at our culture, and even Friday night, as Will and I were watching Channel 8 News, they had a special section on following the police officers somewhere in Cuyahoga County as they responded to a woman who had just overdosed. Literally, they pulled up and they were talking about why police officers now have to carry Narcan with them, Narcan, for the restoration. And yet, the cost to our communities for that, the cost to the first responders, is one that we've got to figure out how each of us in our own way can offer up this living water that we say we believe in. This water that should be springing out of us. And that's why the idea of even the next 3 weeks we're going to collect baby items so that we can offer to new moms things that they need essentially. Yeah, I mean, they should be able to afford these things themselves, but so many times I think even the folks that this program is trying to reach out to are those moms that really maybe are not in a healthy family, in a place where there's going to be all those good things. Maybe even this baby shower may be the only thing that they get, the only things that they get. So that's why I just want to implore upon your sense of generosity. You're an amazingly generous people in so many different ways that let's have to get 3 or 4 more buckets or boxes like this. I was humbled earlier this week when I was told they were going to drop the box off. Nikki and I were both running and doing some things, and I happened to I had left the church, I was on my way to a meeting, and had pulled down here at Maple, and was getting ready to turn left and head downtown, and I saw this white vehicle come racing up our driveway, down Maple Street, up the driveway. So I'm sitting there at the stop sign, and I'm looking in my back mirror to see if they're going to come around the building, because that happens a lot here, because they think this is a street, they think they can get out and realize. And so they didn't come, so I turned back into the driveway, and just as I was pulling up, I met this white vehicle coming at me head on, and it was Bridget Cole. Now, I don't know if you know that name, but she's an amazing woman who, in her own right, over these last many months, literally almost a year now, has been fighting for her life. In fact, she'd just come from the hospital to drop off this box. And when I just stopped for a moment and said, thank you for letting us be part of this process, and also said to her, thank you for your story. Thanks for this is crazy. You should really be doing something else, maybe sitting at home drinking your tea, but here you are trying to bless some mothers in our community. Thank you. And she just said, well, it's part of my story. So that idea, again, back to why these stories out of the Gospel of John are so important for us to look at. So this idea of water springing up, that Jesus wants us to see, that's the kind of life he wants to give us, a life that is leaping and full of vibrancy and full of energy. And I know there's some moments when that energy wanes, but we really have to understand what Jesus is calling us to be a part of. And so Jesus in this story this morning is using the element of water as a metaphor, as a picture of our spiritual reality. That he wants us to understand that he wants to give us something that won't just meet the need for the moment, but will actually meet the need for all of life. And so when we hit those walls, when life looks like it's falling apart, and we think in the moment that there's nothing left to live for, we need to see. And see, sometimes we have to offer that to others, because there's so many people in our world today that don't see that. Okay, so let me just finish up here with a couple more thoughts. You see, can you imagine how thirsty this woman was? And yet, I mean, thirsty spiritually, how empty her life was, how barren her soul was. I don't mean that she was passionately pursuing the things of God. I mean that she was hungry and thirsty, that she was actually, as we say sometimes, the idea we need a hunger and thirst after righteousness. I just think that she was spiritually bankrupt. And yet, in our culture today, it's very common to hear people who are seeking God say, well, I'm searching for God. But we know as good Presbyterians in our own tradition that, as we study the book of Romans, we know that according to our understanding is that there's nobody that seeks God. There's nobody who searches out for him because we're all fallen. And yet that's the beauty of it, that really the quest to understand who God is doesn't begin until after we've had that encounter. So that's why it's so important how we live our lives every day in terms of the things we do as the church, whether it's reaching out by touching the lives of mothers who need baby items, or it's our pots and pans later this week to come and hang out with some amazing students who decide they want to make a difference in the community, not just our students, but they want to make a difference to their Vacation Bible School, and so they've been collecting materials and raising monies so they could bless us, so we could bless others. And how cool is that? But we see that it's a process, and yet it's part of where I see our culture, that I really see that there are so many people in our world that are desperately seeking to find a place, desperately seeking to find relief from their guilt, seeking something to fill the emptiness of their souls and their lives. And we need to say to them, it's Jesus. Which is a safe answer, but in some cases it's you. It's the relationship that you have because of what God's done in your life. And yeah, it may be messy, and it may be incomplete, and it may put you in a position like the Samaritan woman talking to the Jewish rabbi, but that's what God calls us to be a part of. And you see, this is what Jesus knew about this woman. And so back to this idea of why it says, John says, he had to go through this journey. He had to go to Samaria. He had to, because he knew that he was going to meet this woman, and he knew that this woman's life was bankrupt, and that she had not stopped trying to find happiness. 5 times she had married, and every time she entered into a marriage that she had thought, this is the one that will make me happy. This is the one that will last. However, none of her marriages have lasted. And that's one of the reasons why, just a side note, why our culture is such a mess with the idea of marriage, because we think that marriage is about the joy or what I take out of the other person. And I don't know about you, and Melinda's not here this morning because she's got a headache, and she would probably agree with this. I mean, she knows that as her husband, I cannot provide for her. That I am incomplete, I can't even our own children. And that's a good thing in some sense, because it means we point them to the Heavenly Father. We point them to what God will do for us in spite of us. And it took us a while to learn that if my identity came out of who she is, and although I married up and she's an amazing woman, I just know that in both ways that there's not enough of us individually to lift the other person up. And so that's why, as Christ followers, we have to lean into this understanding that Jesus wants to offer so much. So just some closing thoughts here. So when Jesus said, verse 14 and 15, whoever drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. The woman replied, and I love the visual element of this as we saw her eyes. She said, "Sir, give me this water that I may not thirst nor come here to draw." So apparently this woman liked the idea of that kind of water that would permanently take away that thirst that she had. And this is the last part of the statement that I found really sort of interesting. I thought as I look at this, the last part of that verse 15, nor come here to draw. The woman was particularly interested in a kind of water that would spare her from having to get up and come to the well at noonday. It was as if she said, you know what, I hate it every time I come here. I hate it every time I come here because I'm by myself, because people have shunned me, because I have no place in the community. I come here, I feel like I have a scarlet A sewn on my clothing. I have to sneak past the eyes of every woman in the village to get here. And when I come here and sit at this place to get my water, you know what? I feel ashamed. I feel embarrassed. And I'm all alone. Who wants to be like that? Who wants to be in that kind of circumstance? And so it's beautiful here. We'll see the rest of it next week as we unpack what Jesus offers here. So the woman becomes intrigued about what God is doing for Jesus for her and how she's organized that day. And so, again, we need to see that there are no coincidences. There's intentionality here of Jesus going on this journey because he has to get there, because he's going to meet this woman and he's going to offer her hope. And see, that's the story for each of us. As we leave here today, we're going to offer hope to all sorts of folks. Or we get the opportunity to offer hope. It depends upon how we respond to that. Some of us will look the other way because it's inconvenient. But some of us who are willing to risk to lean into it will actually have an amazing opportunity. I mean, I think back to last fall when our students went around and tried to bless all sorts of folks with a rake and run. And they were, but they probably found out they got some houses and some of our folks that they were trying to bless had already had their leaves raked. And so all they did was run. They had to run from back to the car and go to the next house. But what was interesting, when they came back here, and I've shared the story before, but I just find it's in those small things. When they came back here and actually gave to our neighborhood, gave to people who have seen this building for many years, yet at the same time what happened, in one particular house as they were out in front, the woman inside actually takes and brings them out drink. And so their generosity of serving actually creates another level of generosity with someone who lives there to serve them back. And our students were, they were caught off guard by that, because that isn't why they showed up. But that's the beauty of the kingdom. And so that's the thing we need to take away this morning. That we need to understand, even this morning, I want to suggest there are people here in this room where these words that you're hearing, that your souls are heavy. And there is a sense of thirst and a sense of emptiness that you've got. Or you know people this way. And you may be even this week be able to offer these words of encouragement. And as we look at this woman at the well, a woman who has a soul who is thirsty and as empty as maybe our own or the people we know about, that the only way that she can be, to find the filling of that void is with Jesus. So this morning, I pray that as we listen to this, as we hear these words being read to us, and as we've looked at these scriptures, and what I've shared with you, that you will see what Jesus was to this woman, and then the responsibility that you have, and maybe even the opportunity to receive that kind of giving of thirst, of reducing thirst, of taking thirst away, of giving this water that forever will fill your soul. And so that maybe even tonight as you go home to bed, you can say to Jesus, would you give me that drink? And we know by this story that that's exactly what he'll do. And so let's take a moment and pray. God, we know that in the messiness, sometimes we sit and we don't see it. Our lives are ordered in such a way that we don't realize that there's people just really pushing through. And then even in our own stories, there's people, even this week, who leaned into things and just, it broke. It broke for them personally, and it broke for their families. And God, we just pray that I pray that I would be, and I pray that each of us this morning, that we name you as our Lord, Jesus, that we would be that cup of water to our neighbors. In that moment, when life looks really messy, but even in the larger moment of reminding people that there is an economy that you're in charge of. There is a life that you're in charge of. And yeah, there's lots of things that are going to come against us. But we know that that's the battle. That's the battle you fought, and it's the battle that we fight as your people. And so this morning I pray that we would be encouraged in that. And so God, just bless us. Bless us as we leave here this morning, that we would be people that would follow your way. And in doing that, even when it's inconvenient, that it would actually offer hope to a world that so desperately needs to know that hope. A world that's so desperately broken, even as we think about the messiness in Venezuela this morning, just where things are just going crazy. We just pray, God, for just reason and for just accountability on the political process there. And then even pray for our own country. Pray for our own leaders, knowing that this thing called politics, that we've made it something that it was never meant to be. That it's not about right or wrong in that sense of the political process, but it's about governing ourselves, and that's a radically different thing. And yet we put all our hope in that. And so things go left and they go right, and they go up the center, and all these things. And meanwhile, millions of people are without health care, and yet we know that we want to live lives of health. And so this morning we just pray your blessing in all that we're about. I pray that we not miss your opportunity to work through us, and most of the time, God, it's not my own story, it's inspiring me. So, God, thank you. Thank you for the privilege of being called your sons and daughters, and we just pray, God, that the things that are in front of us, the things that are even in our worship program this morning, the things that are messy, that we want to bring your light to, we just pray your presence into it. We just ask it now, Jesus, in your name. And all God's people said, amen. Let's stand and sing. We've sung it a couple times, a couple different ways. We had the live band that led us one time, and then we want to sing Lion and the Lamb. And again, these words, I hope you'll see that there's a fighting that takes place for who we are as God's children, as his sons and daughters, but there's also a beauty of the sacrifice that Christ gives for us. So please sing along.